You know what's offensive to me? Actors pretending to be things that they're not. And I'm not alone. In Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman plays an autistic man. Dustin's not autistic. That's wrong. Heath Ledger, Jake Gyllenhaal in Brokeback Mountain, they played two gay cowboys. They're not cowboys. Hilary Swank played a trans man in Boys Don't Cry in 1999. That was a microaggression. Bryan Cranston played a meth dealer. And in another film, he played a quadriplegic. One of those things he's not, apparently. Charlize Theron played a bisexual serial killer in the 2004 movie Monster. A bisexual serial killer. And Charlize hasn't even killed anyone. We can't allow actors to be things that they're not. This is disgusting. I will say this though, I was being sarcastic with all of those. Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Maybe that was a bit, how you going?
But that was 2 weeks ago. You cannot go on or keep ringing my bell.
It wasn't even a comedy. But Brendan Fraser, who was the man behind The Mummy, a great film back in the Disney, after a long hiatus, is copping a lot of shit because of his new film, The Whale. Brendan Fraser's comeback movie, The Whale, is getting backlash for its anti-fat storyline. And before we get into that article, I'll just read the warning they put there. Content warning. This article contains references to disordered eating and anti-fat language. Fuck me. If you need a content warning for anti-fat language, oh my God, you are the weakest piece of shit that's ever lived. I'm sorry, but you are. I guess we need some context. What is The Whale about? In The Whale, Brendan Fraser plays the middle-aged Charlie, a morbidly obese man endeavoring to eat himself to death. I'm actually pissed off about this. This role should have been given to Tess Holliday. Throughout, Aronofsky, the director, invites us to gawk at Fraser's prosthetic-enhanced appearance as his character showers, masturbates, nice, and precariously moves around the rundown Idaho apartment with the aid of a rickety walker. When the man binges on meatball sandwiches or chocolate bars, it's shot and scored with a bombastic revulsion of a horror movie. I imagine that that's probably all that a severely morbidly obese man who's trying to kill himself by eating would do. Walk around, struggle to walk around, eat food, and masturbate. What else would you do? What else would you do? But also, it's probably scored, the music is like that because he is verging closer to death every time he puts more and more calories into his mouth. In the same way that you could shoot a movie about an alcoholic like that, or someone addicted to drugs. You could do that exact same directorial move to sort of show that these people are getting closer to death the further they go down the rabbit hole of whatever they are addicted to, be it food, be it drugs, be it alcohol. Let's remember that serial killers don't kill as many people as obesity does. Let's remember that. But don't you really expect this reaction from people? Like, I expect it. As soon as there's someone who isn't a fat man playing a fat person, when I heard about this movie, I was like, okay, people are gonna be upset. People are gonna carry on. People are gonna have the shits. But who are these people? Where do they thrive? TikTok. TikTok's the answer. That's where everything that's fucked is thriving at the moment.
With all this discussion of The Whale, I've been seeing a lot of people lacking true understanding of why fat suits are inherently harmful and fatphobic.
Fat suits. That's the problem here. That's what you have. That's the issue with the movie. Okay.
Let's get into it. The
Please.
usage of fat suits reinforce the societally held belief that fatness is not a natural state.
Yeah, sure. It's a natural state in the same way that if you're a diabetic person and your foot starts rotting off is a natural state. It's a natural state that severely impacts your health. So try to avoid it.
Reinforces this idea that fatness is something that everyone can just take off. If you
Oh, right. So you're mad that because he can take the suit off at the end of the day, it reinforces the idea that you can just take fat off your body, like through exercise and diet and over a long period of time. Because that's not true. That's not real.
you worked hard enough, there's a thin person inside of every fat person.
That's not true. It is. It is true.
This is emphasized with the unnatural look of most fat suits. Along with that, most actors who are wearing fat suits have never actually been the size that they are representing, and therefore in the fat suit, the way that they move, the way that they express, the way that they sit.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, right? They should have put the weight on for the film. It's like that Avatar movie when they're all underwater. They did it under the water. They should have fucking piled on the kegs, right? They should have smashed heaps of fucking cheeseburgers just to play that role. Brendan Fraser, you should be ashamed of yourself, you fat-phobic pig.
These things look unnatural because they are for that person. A thin person wearing a fat suit is never going to look natural because that is not that person's natural state.
Imagine putting that up on TikTok and thinking you're fucking nailing it. Jordan Underwood. Weird transsexual model fat activism. Fuck.
I think I was crystal clear in my stance that supporting the whale is to support systemic fat phobia. Is this separate from
Who gives a fuck what your stance is? Who are you?
supporting Brendan Fraser's experience of survivorship? Obviously, you all know I'm a survivor. It's like, why half of you are here? And you know that I stand with all survivors. That also means that as survivors, it's our responsibility to call out other people.
The tribe has spoken. Survivor, shut up.
The tribe has spoken.
When we contribute to other forms of systemic harm. Being a survivor and being mistreated horrifically by the system does not absolve us of perpetuating harm in other spheres. What happened to Brendan is horrific and it should not have happened. He's also a small fat in a fat suit with CGI edited imaging.
Hang on, he's a what? He's a... Hang on, go back.
What happened to Brendan is horrific and it should not have happened. He's also a small fat in a fat suit with CGI.
He's a small fat in a fat suit.
CGI edited imaging, perpetuating systemic fat phobia, feeding into fat phobic tropes, making life more difficult for super fat and infinite fat people.
Infinite fat people! Infinite!
Not support that. And I'm curious as to why people think it's appropriate to weaponize my survivorship against me in support of fat phobia. Of course, I have empathy for him, but empathy is multidirectional, and I cannot support something that contributes to systemic harm.
There are hundreds of these videos about the whale on TikTok, and there's hundreds of news articles too, all point, and obviously some of the news articles are just opinion pieces on ridiculous websites, but they're all pointing to this idea that it is fat phobic, that it's pushing harmful ideas about fat. Like, it's just completely insane that people are upset about this. This movie is based in reality. There are so many people living this extremely obese life and they are fucking sad. Look at the 1,000-pound sisters or 1,000-pound fucking whatever on that, I think it's TLC or whoever makes it. Those people aren't happy. They struggle every single day. That is what the whale is showing us. But by far, the most hilarious thing about all this is people actually being upset that he wears a fat suit. Like, look at this. Also noted was that Fraser wears a prosthetic and a fat suit to play the film's central character. A prop that's long been called out for being fat phobic and stigmatizing, while taking away opportunities from fat actors to play the role. There's no reaction to that. These people genuinely think they're getting good points out there. They're pushing that out into the world. It's going past an editor and being published. They are insane. I can understand a lot of activists. I even understand vegan activists. I get it. They think they're changing the world. But imagine being an activist. Imagine wanting to change the world by stopping actors wearing fat suits. That is your hill to die on. Or in the fat people's case, not being able to walk up. So here's a question. What other prosthetics should actors not be able to wear? Should Edward Scissorhands not being able to wear prosthetic scissors? Should we have found someone with scissors for hands to play that role? Should Voldemort have been cast in a way that it provided more jobs for people without noses? Fuck, don't tell the trans community about Mrs. Doubtfire. That shit will go up in flames like her titties in the movie. People get offended by shit, but let's be honest. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? This whole attitude is rubbish. It's bullshit. Even if someone complains, no one cares. The wider population couldn't give a shit, and yet all of these articles are pushed out into the ether like somebody gives a shit. No one cares, and the only way we can combat that is by voting with our clicks. Don't click on these articles. If you want to read the headline and have a laugh, do that, but don't click on it and don't give them the ad revenue. That will stop them writing this clickbait shit. Furthermore, from that article from Junkie, by the way, I didn't say that before, but it's from Junkie. Charlie is also regularly described using the problematic term morbidly obese. Look at him. What other way would you describe him? He is a planet. Let me finish this video by saying this. Let actors act. And if you ask someone with an opinion that I deem to be shit, shut the fuck up. Just do it ahead of time, all right? Because you're going to end up on this channel and me just having the shits with you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you do. You right there. I hope you have a lovely day. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Too love. Blah, 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 blah.